from the Bob Mills Weather Center, the Oklahoma weather expert, Travis Meyer.
Hey, I don't know about you, but that weekend was vicious if you had to be outside at all Saturday, especially Sunday. Oh, my goodness. Sunday afternoon was cold and wet and wet and wet and more cold and cold and cold. But that is a huge air mass that just came across here. Check out how much of the country is affected. So this came all the way pretty much from out of the Arctic. So not only Canadian air, but also Arctic air. And there's a difference. But that has sunk all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, into Old Mexico, and up into the mountainous terrains in the western half of Mexico. Now it's starting to get into the Atlanta area and then near Washington, D.C., New York, and Boston. So it continues to creep south and east. In advance of it, it's been really warm, and behind it is really, really cold. Not bitter cold, you know, like 10 degrees or anything. That's still coming for winter, but our winter forecast is a couple weeks away still at this point. We did rebound a little bit today with some sunshine. And these are current temperatures, not highs for the day. So it's getting chilly. And as each moment goes by, the dry air is just allowing temperatures to drop off quickly. So we do have freeze warnings in effect. This high pressure system continues to sink south. So freeze warnings in the areas of eastern Oklahoma, northern Texas, right up through Dallas, and then over to Memphis and over to Nashville. So these are all freeze warnings where temperatures will be in the 20s tonight. This is a freeze watch. And so pretty much keep an eye on potential for freezing all the way down south of Dallas and into the Texarkana area. So it's going to be a cold night for many folks. All that rain is gone except way deep south. Most of Oklahoma's had freeze now in northwest part and southeastern Kansas, so we're not including anybody in southeast Kansas at this point because it's been already below freezing, but pretty much Bartlesville south and east, it's going to be hard enough freeze and long enough that it's going to do some damage. So by morning, we'll be in the 20s across the entire area. Nobody stays above freezing. Usually southeast Oklahoma will stay about a week or so above freezing while the rest of us go to freezing, but looks like this one's going to wipe us all out. Temperatures will be in the 40s for highs on Tuesday, and struggle because of the gusty north winds. And it just so happens to be Halloween. Yeah, and so because of that, at least the winds are going to be dying down. Little scary ghosts and goblins will be out, but the weather not too scary, just cold. And so some of the kids might get away with just their costumes, but some might need a jacket. At Halloween yesterday, I tell you, I think everybody needed a parka. It was awful cold and wet and terrible, but a lot of folks were out there. All right, really cold again on Wednesday morning. So if you're covering your garden up, you have to do this not tonight only, but also for tomorrow night and into early Thursday morning before we finally get above freezing. In the afternoon, it's not great, but it'll be in the 50s. And by the time we get in Thursday, we'll be above freezing in the morning. We'll be in the low 60s in the afternoon with south winds, kind of breezy. And then on Friday, we're in the mid to upper 60s. So you can see that gradual warming trend starting to take hold. And of course, everybody's interested about Bedlam. And yes, Bedlam looks pretty decent. The only thing is some gusty winds. That's probably about the only thing that might be a little less than exciting. But temperatures should be just awesome. Better than Ice Bowl, I guess you could say, if you remember that. Temperatures will go transition as we go through. Really, Thursday's a transitional day, and then we'll get above normal as we go into next week. Notice average highs will generally be in the mid-60s. We do drop off a little bit later next week, but overall, we're going to get better. That's good. Rain chances are pretty slim right now. So our rain chances are just barely hanging in there for Saturday night into Sunday. The jet stream is doing a lot of the pushing of this cold air. So it's going to push it right on out of here by the time we get to midweek. We start to get milder Pacific air coming in. So that's going to leave us with great weather toward the end of the week and on into the beginning of next week. There's just a little bit of a clipper coming down that's going to mess with us a tad bit. But overall, not too bad. We're waiting on colors to show up. We're sitting at 45 degrees at this hour. We do have a lot of color in the outlying areas. In the heart of Tulsa, not so much so. We're in the mid-40s at this hour. As we work our way through tonight, it's just cold. 34 at 9 o'clock, 29. And we're talking about some seriously cold air. As by the time we get into the noontime, after being frost on the pumpkin and everything else, we'll just gradually get a little bit better. Not much strong north winds tomorrow, keeping it really cold. And we say hello, November, there on Wednesday. And then we're followed up with a great weekend. Perfect timing. Don't forget we'll have to fall back. Daylight saving time comes to an end.